Welcome back, everyone. We're going to go into the next round, the Amarriner Cup. And this is my match, so yay! Alright, just kind of going right into it. First, we have to figure out what ideally we want to accomplish on this map. And the kind of obvious sore thumb is the island, right? Typically when there's like an island up here and it's not necessarily easy to just front shift diagonally like maps, usually you're looking at something like a center domination map, right? You want to control the center. And here, usually, like, yeah, controlling the center is a good thing. There are some caveats that you don't also want to just lose in the process of that. One thing to notice is like there's only really 4 cities in here, and really, and these two are probably the most contestable up here. But pretty much once you get these cities, or once cities are gotten, it's going to be relatively hard to flip out the entire game. Once you get those, you're probably going to, as long as you maintain pressure, you're probably going to. You also have 2 pathways, right? So these ones have roads. Well, partially. So just to kind of start things off. There we go. So this is for player 1, which is down here. This is the 2-turn reinforcement to give you an idea of what's going to happen. So 1, you can kind of see that like 2 turns, you can easily cover a decent portion of the center. So it's going to be easy reinforcements, but also kind of brawly. To some degree, kind of choky because you have like only 2 over here, 2 over here. You have kind of zigzag. So depending on how you're coming and where your units are positioned, it's not unthinkable that you could be just kind of walled off. So be careful on that. Thing to note, so this is taking account that this base that's currently not captured or offline is, if you get this is the line, right? Otherwise it's kind of like down here. So over the long run, what you can see is you can actually, with land units, you can actually apply a pretty good amount of pressure over, right? Versus over here, it's a little bit less. So over the long run, but if you look at the infantry and how many turns it's going to take for that, and that's assuming that this base over here is the one you're going to be using for this, because this one's going to be offline for several turns, right? At least it's going to be 3 turns. There's going to be like day 4 before you actually get anything out of it. So you can obviously see. You also got a bunch of, cities and stuff in the way that you're probably going to want to capture first. Over here, you can see there's 4. So you're going to slightly get your infantry over to this side first. So you have the opportunity to capture it. And you can get these, and then maybe they'll flip, maybe they're not. Anyways, let's just get into air support because I accidentally clicked the wrong button. So right here, you can kind of see if we're playing as player 1 in terms of air support. 1 turn is actually a pretty decent move, right? Because if you think about it, this right here is the opponent's side, and it's very likely that they're positioned here, 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 like along. There's a high chance that one of these 3 locations right here is there's a unit position. So if he's not thinking properly, or he's just forced to, you can easily get in with 1 turn and just take a hit. 2 is also very useful, 2 movement, because again, it covers a majority of the square, and that allows you kind of just go in there, hit hard, and make your move. But also because air support seemingly is very good on this map, is kind of slightly hindered by this base. So let me just go. We'll say the opponent's air support for this, right? So what you probably want to do is, and if you're going to reinforce this side, you're probably going to want to send an anti-air up this route. And if you play your cards right, you can actually lock down this airport, which is detrimental. So to some extent, your opponent also wants to apply a little bit of force in this, but just enough to make sure you don't lock it down, right? Because what this is going to come down to is using the least amount of forces to maintain your front. So ideally, you want to maintain this, so you're going to have to be defensive in, say, this area, right? I say this area because there's the most defensive property. You're going to want to defend this and resist this. The airbase will somewhat help, and it's not too bad because with the battlecopters, you can realistically front switch here and here and try to avoid anti-air. So just think about this. Anti-air come down here. You might want to tank. Caveat is that if you're making a tank this way, you're not pushing tanks this way or this way. So you want to, at some point, find the perfect balance to just keep the defense on this. Whereas this one, you do want to push on this front. You try to get that anti-air there. You kind of shut down the battlecopters. That's going to be really useful. All that to say, you want to still apply force over here, but you don't want it to be too much. So you don't want to apply too little force in a critical area and then lose it in another area. So one thing to consider on this map is what this base is going to do. Now, you're probably not going to be realistically making vehicles every turn on every base. This, however, is probably the most prime base for getting into the center, and it's definitely the most ideal base for sending units up this way you want. So you may have to alternate. You may be able to stall enough to use these other bases to get units. Whatever you got to do. Okay. So just to kind of recap what I think is the dominating strategy here is you want to control the center. You want to push on this side, although the opponent has the advantage initially. And you want to... Alright, I'm just assuming you're a player 2 in this case, because I am. Then you want to defend this the best you can. And you need to find a decent balance. And one thing to consider is it's not... Because the center is kind of positioned like this, you can't just go straight into a normal front switch. You have to go back maybe if you don't have the positioning. If you can't really expect to go forward to front switch here. You have to kind of go back, go forward, go down here. You have to go back to go forward. Because if you try to just do like something like that, that's your opponent's territory. You're going to lose that. Groovy. Okay, so moving to CO choice, I'm just going to explain my personal CO choice because I think this is... There's only one clear option for this, and it's... So Jess is basically gets the extra attack. And every game I watch on this map, it always comes down to a similar. There's going to be brawls in the center. There's going to be some brawls over here. And mostly what ends up happening is that what it comes down to is being able to get your vehicles out there. So in these two fronts, I would say it's just about getting any vehicle out there. So you want movement in general. In here, you just want kind of raw tank count, or whatever vehicle count you do. Of course, pretty much just raw unit count in here, just because there's going to be a lot of brawling and you want those. And arguably the best person to brawl in tier 4 is Jess. Alright, so not only that, Jess's power is also, you can go with the power or the super, so you get that versatility if you really have that opportunity to go for it. And I know what you're saying, like that, oh no, but you said copters are really good on this map. Jess has bad copters. Well, here's the thing. With a comm tower, Jess's copters are normal, and it is perfectly fine for me, because one, the defense isn't going to hurt. It's still going to take an anti-air to take that puppy down. And two, on 0 stars, it's still 2 shots. Tanks, still 2 shot, other copters, etc. And what do you see in a lot of the map? Oh, look, a bridge. That's a 0 tier. 0 star, 0 star, 0. There's a lot of 0 star tiles around. So if you're getting stuck just having to position your units where you have to and not where you want to, it's really feasible that I could just go in and hit your unit. Yeah. One thing I would think is I actually don't... this is just a critique of my opponent, is that I don't think Cole is a good choice. Understand you see a lot of roads, but keep in mind this is going to be a brawly map. So the issue with that is that he wants to take his engagements on roads. Well, roads don't have any defense. So unless you hit me hard enough where I have to run away that very turn, if I push in and try to counterattack right after, I might be able to punish you fairly well. And so if you look at like just the powers, like his normal 3, mine's 3, and not only do I get movement, I get added attack on any tile. Even with 2, I would still say it's preferable to his, even though it's a little bit cheaper. Those are just my thoughts, and I think I'm good enough just to go for it. Yeah. So again, as a general rule, you want to go forward with your captures as much as you can and wait, kind of let someone else go back to go capture those once they're typically behind you. That's just a good practice, because when your units are done capping, they're already at the front lines. They don't have to go, like this guy's going to have to go all the way to some other point. Like he's going to have to just travel before he can get to a point where he can be useful or get another capture. And he opens with a recon. And I open with the tank, because good. Tanks are just good. And he's moving at center. So here's the thought, and what I think is the optimal move, and it's because I saw it was either Fluffy or D just does this. They take this unit and they position it here. And why that's good in my mind is because then your opponent doesn't know what you're going to do. You can go inward, or you can go over here to go defend this area. If you were to say go inland, or like even here, your options are here or here. This way, you're kind of known that you're going to go down, because going this way, it doesn't make sense because you're going right to go left. It's inefficient. Whereas, and if you go to this tile, or this tile, well, they know you're going to the center. You're kind of stuck going to the center. Whereas putting your unit here gives you adaptability. Do I do that? No! As I was on half of... I don't know. I was just not thinking. And he makes more artillery. And to me, that's... Pretty much the last time I played against a guy who made artillery early on, he just tanked it. He just did horrible. So I decided to do the same strategy I did last time, I make a bunch of recons and an artillery. The artillery is just to kind of make up, just to finish using up that income, because artillery will be useful on this map. It's not the only thing you want to make, but it'll be useful. And the thought process is that I can harass him with recons, because he doesn't really have a counter for the recon yet. And it looks like he's about to harass my infantry over here. And he's moving his unit forward, and he makes a tank. I'm just moving them even. Well, I'm moving my recons on both sides. Make more tanks and more infantry. Yeah, I did that. That was a stupid move. I don't know why. I was just like kind of in a fog. But basically, he was able to position my tank, and now he's tank no good. He is already up here threatening me, and he is moving his artillery here, trying to be defensive. This, I don't think, is the proper way to go about it. I think if you're going to send something up here early, you should have sent this into the middle to support. Up here early, you really should have sent like an anti-air or something. Down here, this is just my attempt to try to deal as much damage as I can. Well, the caveat is that he doesn't harass my infantry. Son of a pup, I just screwed that up. Why'd you let me control the buttons, man? Alright, going back to... So he does get a hit off on my tank. And he builds a copter. Yeah, I've also built a copter, which will chase away this. It should have been an anti-air. And he's positioning to get my recon. He still has not put any real force up here, and I think that's not going to be good for him. And watch this. The one, I forgot to hit the comm tower again, but at this point he can't, there's nothing he can do over here, so I just get free reign to hit whatever unit I want. I want to delay this capture just for a little bit. And I start threatening to capture these, making him have to move these guys over here or do something over here, right? He has to make a choice. Just trying to keep my positioning so he can't just overthrow me. Takes in. And he finishes off that tank. He's sending his copter in. So my thought process is that sending a copter in over here to go assault infantry, although it stops the cap, well, it delays the cap, the most effective thing you can do with this is to take a hit on a tank. So if you're going to stop, delay a cap, delay this one, right? That way you get your unit up here. Then you can actually attack a tank with it or something. Right now it's just harassing infantry. That's 500 damage it did to 9,000 unit. You don't want to be wasting that. If he moved his tank down here, I think his tank would have been more useful up here to go deal some damage, but, you know. And he's going in for that hit. He went in for the infantry hit. Hitting my artillery. I think he should have hit this guy. I think this would have done a lot more noticeable damage than just this, because this can still take a solid hit. If anything, oh, he doesn't have any tanks left. Finish capping. Clean up some units. This guy, I'm trying to avoid this anti-air right now, and this is the only thing I can hit while avoiding it, so I get to delay that cap. Finish him off of that recon. So move the tank to kind of threaten this tank with. Because right now, I know I've kind of lost it. He pushed too hard, and I need to back the hell out of there. Oh, I still have the income advantage, though, so I'm not out yet, even though I have less well, we'll see at the end of the turn if I have actual less value. But over here, making sure to... Because, again, these are going to be hard to get. I'd rather just kill off his infantry and make sure he can't get that income. I'm probably not going to get it. I can sure as hell make sure he doesn't get it. Especially because he has all this force here. Right there, that's the move I think you should be making. And this allows me to go down if I need to, or reinforce this. So I'm gonna get this. I just have more resources over here. Over here, I'm just trying to kind of like taunt him. Move this back to try to heal it, try to defend it. Because of course I don't want him to get onto my base. I can't go that far back. But if he fights into this, he's gonna pay for it. That's really it. One of the nice things is that I can kind of reason if he goes on this tile, I can hit him. I have options. I have things that can hit him if he tries to push into that, if he so chooses. So of course he's going to take a shot at that, trying to stop this cap. Again, at this point, he should have moved these up here. He should have. He's kind of being really inefficient with those units. Boom. And watch, he's going to put a tank up there. He's just kind of inching in with those. That artillery. Boom. Surprisingly, he didn't actually do a lot because it's an HQ, but... And look at this. Look at this. It is not looking good for me, right? He's finished his turn. He has at least 30 on me. But I still got more income. Now I'm banking on that. I'm going to still threaten some of this. Can you get this? We can get this, but I think I'm really just taunting him with that. I'm still just threatening things. Move that out of the way. Just take a shit. Because even though it's at 3, that's still a good trade. Then hit that. Again, I have a lot of things threatened to be captured. I'm in a place to actually get more income than him. So it's okay that I lost in the center initially. I'm going to push through. And this is just because I feel like I have to keep defending this area. I think I have to. But also, after he won the center, he could have just hung back or front shifted to go support another area. He's pushing in here. He is pushing into this area. And look at these tiles. Those are shoals. Those don't have defense. They have no defense. What is he doing? I'm going to harass him more. Now he can definitely get this, but again, what was I doing? I don't know, I'm just trying to delete his infantry. Because if he doesn't have infantry, he's not going to be able to capture things, especially once I get them. And yes, I make more anti-air because this one died and I just need anti-air down there. But I also made more tanks because I need tanks. He pops trailer, whoa. Just boom. Takes that guy out. Continues. He's threatening to capture my own cities now. Taking shots at my tanks, hitting. This one was a really bad idea, honestly. You just traded 5 for 3. That was actually not good. Just decimated that. He's even capturing my cities again. Boom! He just knocked. He solidified the units in the city, in the center. He's finishing off my tanks. Boom! He's finishing off my tanks. Jesus, look at that. Look at all that damage he's done. He is Done a lot of damage. But you gotta ask yourself, can I come back from this? Do I believe in myself? Does anyone else believe in me? You know what? I can do it. I believe in myself. So, down here, continue trying to capture these. If he does nothing, I'm going to capture it. He can't. I'm kind of testing him to go pull resources away from here, so I can actually make some progress over here. Finish capturing. Finish hitting this guy. Just again, now he can't recapture. Finishes off his artillery. Get a free shot because he wasn't thinking about how he placed that guy. Right, so I already got that. This guy, I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna knock him off completely with the. Okay, that was a roll, and you know what? I didn't win, but I really hope that would have worked, because then I would have just sent this guy in to hit this anti-air. But deal with what we got. Again, is this a great move? No, because he can just put the tank on there and hit me. But I gotta deal as much damage to this as I can. And I block off this copter so he can't do any real damage. More tank. Tank, develop. Put a tank in there. Tank, tank, tank. Why? Because I need tanks. More tanks. More hits. Battlestar Galactic. And this is exactly what I thought. He's going to finish off that tank. But remember, this is healing. He's still putting himself in that way. He's going to try to capture this. He's trying to capture this. Look at him. He's just inching in. He's just inching in. Oh, just finishing off more units. Boom. Boom. Now, my turn. Capture these. First thing to think of. Finally knock that guy out. That's right. Super time. Boom. 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 Oh, what was that? You had our artillery? Boom. Boom. Reposition. Reinforcements. Boom. Boom. You think you can take my city? Nope. Watch how I position up here. Boom. So there is no way, no combination of moves that would allow him to take a shot in a copter right there. So I build a copter. I make another anti-air, because this one may lose, but I'm going to make sure he's not going to get anything. And I finish topping this app. And look at that. Look at that. Not only am I now in the lead in units, unit value too. Yeah. I'm back. Let's see what you do. Again, he's fighting this. I already capped it, so again, to some degree, you can kind of, to some extent, I might even ignore this thread. Deal with this anti-air is what your priority is. That's your priority. Anything else, because again, I already own this. It doesn't help me to push forward. I might try to get this if I'm feeling cheeky, but nah, screw it. He's really doubling down on this, and this is not the way to do it. When taking a big hit, just kind of go back, lick your wounds, think about what you need to do. Or at the very least, if when you push in, front switch or something like Jesus, he's down. Keep in mind, at the top of this turn, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-ish tanks. 1. Well, half. 1. I have an overwhelming majority of tanks in the center. You can't do it. Run. Lick your wounds. Live to fight another day. But no, he's going back in for it. He really wants to get this, even though he can't maintain it. And then he throws a unit on this. He wants me to waste a unit on this, which at this point, I have enough. I have the number to actually do that. Alright, so he's... at least this guy he pulls back. Tank, and an infantry. Okay. And boom. This guy can't really do anything yet, so go ahead. This guy comes in for the copter. Boom. He is no threat here anymore. He should have made a tank to go over here. If anything, pull back, go for the sides, because you can't win the center. And then you have to wait on me being reactive to try to do anything. Oh, I hit you with the tank. Try to deal as much damage with the tanks. Finish his tanks. Finish the artillery. Take a shot at that guy. Finish the tank. At this point, it's at 1 HP. Even if it did get a shot at my helicopter, how much could it do, really? And then if it does, boom, I have this right here. Covering, shutting down a lot, actually. And more tanks, copter, because I want to overwhelm him at this point. Okay, and he pops the super again. Great. Awesome. Go ahead and try it. Again, he's pushing into it. He has a lone tank into this 4 tanks. Like, dude. You're like this, okay. Move elsewhere where your tanks are better utilized. And just try to survive for now until you can find an opening. But he's just being aggressive. I'm like, this is fine, but again, you're just kind of leaving me free hits. You don't have a counter and you're pushing in. Don't be pushing in, man. Look, 2 tanks and a medium tank. Okay, so now he realizes I have more tanks. He needs a counter, right? But here's what I do. Look at that. I'm just polishing off his units. I'm doing more damage in a turn than he can replenish. So, just polishing off his units. He should have just pulled away when he had the chance. Another copter. 4 tanks on all the fronts. Medium tank. Infantry. And the thing is, I'm making it on the same base. Because no matter what he chooses to go with here, I'm just going to be able to follow it. And because I just have more raw units than he does, I'm going to be able to win the positional advantage with that. Tries to capture this. Good luck. Finally pulls back. Now he's taking a defensive position. Good. Take a defensive position. 2 anti-airs. You do need anti-airs because I have 3 copters and I'm probably going to make more. It's just finishing off the units. Put a tank on there. Put the copter in the middle. You have no real threats for my copters yet. And I'm able this turn to just reposition my units. I'm not actually going to get this. This is just to kind of be a threat. Again, just positioning my units very carefully. He's bringing his tank over here. I'm bringing my tank over here. And more tanks, because... boom. 9. Yeah. So he did good initially. He's basically caught me off guard early on. But the overall issue is just he's being too aggressive. So like this was way too aggressive to push in. This was definitely too aggressive. You're just throwing your units out here. These units are also not supported, right? This guy, if I go to hit with this tank, this guy can't actually do anything, this artillery. You're throwing your artillery to something that's easily wall broken. It's not a good idea. You had an advantage. What you would try to do is try to gain the income advantage at that point by shifting your units. once you get the income advantage, just kind of sit by and let that accrue, right? But he kept pushing into it, and that's ultimately why which turn was it? This one. That's why this turn was just so effective. It's because he just kept pushing in. Yeah, he pushed in so far with his tanks, and I just whittled him down. Also, these copters killed, what was it, like 1 tank? It was not an effective trade. And then in the end, I get all these because you need to make the most effective use of your units, and in 9,000 unit trying to harass infantry, no, use it for what it's intended for on this map, getting in the center, getting in and out of the center really quickly. So if you guys enjoyed that match, let me know, and thanks for watching.